Let's talk about Monty's commands and training tools so that you can stay consistent at home. The first thing we're going to talk about is the heel. Heel is on your left side. His head or shoulder should be about aligned with your left leg on a nice loose leash. About 85 to 90% of your walks are going to be spent in this position. The other 10 to 15% of the time he can be a free dog to sniff, go potty, explore, just be a dog as long as he's not pulling you on that leash. This is the prong collar. This is what I've been using in Monty's training. So to take this apart, you simply grasp one prong with your right hand, grab the next prong with your left, and pull down. It doesn't take a lot of pressure. It's more about the leverage that you apply. So put this on. It goes nice and high up under his chin, behind his ears. And you just pinch this prong and slot it into the next prong. The leash then attaches to this D-ring with the swivel on it. All of your corrections with the prong collar are going to be a quick pop and release on the leash. You don't want to pull on it, you don't want to apply constant tension, you just want a quick pop and release. Bring treats with you, especially on your first few walks, because you want to reward Monty when he is in the proper position. So when he's in the proper position, you can reward with treats, petting, or praise, but he does particularly like treats. If he does get out of position, you're going to tell him no, give a quick pop on the leash, and tell him heel again. So if he starts getting ahead, no, pop, heel, and that should bring him right back into position. The next is the remote collar. To turn this on, there is a red dot on the collar itself. There's a matching red dot on the remote. You simply tap those two together to turn the collar on until you see a green flashing light. This light will flash green every few seconds, letting you know it's on, charged, and ready to go. To turn on the remote, there is an L button on the back of the remote. You simply press and hold until the blue screen lights up. So when you're doing corrections with this collar, you're going to use this black S button. We're not using the red button right now, we're just going to use the black S button. So if he gets out of position in the heel, starts getting ahead, you're going to tell him no, press that black S button and tell him heel again. So it's no, press, heel. Next is the sit. We use an implied stay with all of our commands, which means we don't use the word stay. It's implied as soon as we give the command. So for example, with door manners, you walk up to the door, tell Monty to sit. He sits at the door, you then open the door, and he sits until you tell him free to go through ahead of you or heel to walk through with you. Sit is a short duration stay. It shouldn't be used for long durations because he will get tired or bored and lay down. Down is for longer duration stays. When you do reward in the down, you're going to reward nice and low, either on the floor between his paws or under his chin. If you tell Monty to down and he does not down, you're going to pop low and to the side rather than up like you would with the sit or the heel. So if you tell him to down and he doesn't down, it's no, pop down to the side, heel, or down. So no, pop, down. And always return to him to reward and release. You don't want to release from a distance because that will weaken the strength of that stay. You release from next to him because that will strengthen the stay. Place is similar. It's a boundary stay. He can stand up, sit down, lay down, turn around, as long as all four paws are within the boundary. We use a raised platform bed for this because it is very clear when he steps off what the mistake was that he made. As with the down, you always want to return to him to reward and release. All the rewards should go on the bed itself. They shouldn't come from you. They should come from the bed because that is what is most rewarding. Next is come when called. Always have a leash on when you're practicing. It's a safety measure for the both of you. So you'll tell Monty come in a very clear voice that he can hear. Praise him as he comes back to you. Have him sit and then reward him when he gets to you. It's very important to always reward this command because you want it to be super rewarding for him because you want him to always want to come back to you. If he chooses not to come back to you, you're going to use the electronic collar to correct him. So you'll tell him no, tap the black S button, tell him come again. And then he should come right to you. And again, always reward this command even if you had to correct, because you want all the good things to happen next to you, even though a correction happened away from you. The last command is leave it. Leave it is a correction in itself, so you don't have to use the word no with this. So if you drop something on the floor you don't want him to get, you tell him leave it, he still goes for it. You're going to press this black S button and tell him leave it. So again, you don't have to say no, it's just tap the button, leave it. So your commands are heel, sit, down, place, come, leave it, and free. This e-collar can be worn all day, every day. It can go on in the morning and come off in the evening. You can rotate it periodically during the day so that these contact points aren't sitting in the same spot all the time, but otherwise it should be on him all day. The prong collar should only be on when you have a leash on. It shouldn't be on just if he's around the house. It should only be on if he's on a leash. So next, let's take a look at some of Monty's commands.
Do you want me to stop the video and do you have the squeaker?
Sit. Down. Good boy. Good down. Down. Good boy. Free. Good boy. Sit. Boy, sit. Free. Leave it. Boy. Let's take a look at the e-collar in greater detail. I already showed you how to turn this on. To turn it off is very similar. You take these two red dots and tap them together until you see a red light, and that red light means that it is off. With the remote, you have the L button in the back. You just press and hold until it says off and the screen turns off. I'm just going to turn these back on so I can show you the rest of these buttons. So I already went over the black S button. That is your regular correction button. The red button is a boost button. It takes the level from 10 up to 15. It's always a +5 unless you reset it to do more or less. But right now it's set to +5. No matter what you set the dial at, it will always add 5 to that. So this button is only for emergencies. So if, say for example, he is loose and you call him back, you use your black S button, he doesn't come back, you're then going to say no, use the red S button to call him back to you. And that should get his attention, get past any adrenaline that he has going through his system at the time to get his attention back on you. So that is the boost button. It's only for emergencies. On the opposite side from the S buttons, we have the T button. This vibrates the collar. We don't use this for any commands. We mostly just use it to check if the collar is on. You'll also see the red or the green flashing light every few seconds if the collar is on. On the back side, this L button has a second function. In addition to turning the collar on and off, if you press it once, you get a flashing light on the collar. Press it a second time for a solid light, and press it a third time to shut off the light. The dial is locked right now at level 10. This works pretty well for Monty right now, but if it were to either not work for him anymore, you need to dial it up, or he starts getting more sensitive and you need to dial it down, you'll have to unlock this. So you simply press and hold on the dial until you see it flash, and then it is unlocked. You see it went down to 1. That's because the dial got turned while it was locked. So you can dial it up by turning one direction and dial down by turning the other direction. I'm just going to reset this at 10 because it works well for him. And to lock it again, you simply press and hold until it flashes and then goes solid. On the back of your remote, you have this rubber tab that opens up to charge. That's the charger port. It should be closed if you're not using it because you don't want to get dirt and debris in there. There is a similar port on the back of the collar itself. Again, just keep it closed so that you don't get dirt and debris in there when it is not charging. Inside your box, you will find your charger. This does have 2 ports on it, so you can charge both the collar and the remote at the same time. You'll likely have to charge the collar more than the remote because it does most of the work. You'll know when the collar needs to be charged because when it's at a half charge, that green flashing light will turn to orange, and when it's about to die, it will turn to red. So you want to charge it when it's at red. You don't want to overcharge these collars. Charge it for about 2.5 hours, because if you overcharge it, it will shorten the life of the battery. You also have the original band in here. We switched over to this bungee band because you just adjust it once and then clasp it on, and there's a clip to take it apart. It also has a little bit of give with the bungee that the original band does not have. If you ever need to change his contact points, these are extended contact points for if you decide to grow his fur out. You might need to use the extended contact points to get through the longer fur. This is the tool that you would use to change out those points. And underneath your tray, you have your manual. This goes over any warranties. It goes over the buttons in greater detail if you want to read that and get more information. But I've gone over the basics that you will need to operate the collar. Monty's a great dog. I had a lot of fun training him. He learns super quick. So I hope you enjoy training him as much as I did and continue with his training. As always, have fun, stay consistent, and let us know if you have any questions.